Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something important today. Management is not just about titles, offices, or who signs the checks. Management is about people. And if you don't understand people, no matter how smart you are, no matter how many degrees you have, you are going to struggle as a leader. Emotional intelligence is the foundation of effective leadership, because leadership has never been about authority alone. It has always been about influence. A manager can have the highest position in the organization, but without emotional intelligence, that position becomes nothing more than a title. Emotional intelligence, a leader, to understand their own emotions, recognize how those emotions affect their behavior, and control their reactions in a way that benefits the team rather than harms it. When a manager is emotionally intelligent, they do not lead from ego, fear, or frustration. They lead from awareness and purpose. Every decision a manager makes is influenced by emotion, whether they admit it or not. Stress, confidence, anger, excitement, and insecurity all play a role in how leaders communicate and act. Emotional intelligence helps managers pause and evaluate their emotional state before responding. Instead of reacting impulsively, they choose responses that align with long-term goals. This ability creates consistency in leadership, and consistency builds trust. Employees feel safer and more confident when they know their manager will respond fairly and calmly, even in difficult situations. An emotionally intelligent manager understands that leadership begins with self-control. When pressure rises, they do not pass that pressure down through harsh words or unreasonable demands. They absorb the stress, organize their thoughts, and communicate clearly. This does not mean they avoid challenges or lower standards. It means they handle challenges with composure. That composure becomes contagious. Teams often mirror the emotional state of their leaders, so a calm and focused manager creates a calm and focused workplace. Emotional intelligence also strengthens communication. Leaders who understand emotions can read between the lines, noticing changes in tone, body language, and behavior. They recognize when an employee is disengaged, overwhelmed, or struggling, even when nothing is said directly. This awareness allows managers to address issues early before they grow into conflicts or performance problems. Employees feel seen and understood, which increases loyalty and commitment. Another powerful aspect of emotional intelligence in leadership is humility. Emotionally intelligent managers are not threatened by feedback. They welcome it. They admit mistakes and take responsibility when things go wrong. This behavior creates a culture where learning is valued over blame. When leaders show vulnerability and honesty, employees feel empowered to do the same, resulting in stronger collaboration and innovation. At its core, emotional intelligence transforms management from command-based leadership into people-centered leadership. It reminds managers that results come through people, not through pressure alone. By understanding emotions, managing them wisely, and responding with intention, leaders create environments where individuals feel motivated, respected, and driven to perform at their best. Self-awareness harajobs make better decisions because it allows them to clearly understand who they are, how they think, and how their emotions influence their actions. A manager who is self-aware recognizes their strengths and uses them effectively, but they also acknowledge their limitations without feeling threatened. This awareness prevents overconfidence and reduces the likelihood of poor judgment caused by ego or emotional impulses. When leaders understand themselves, they are better to lead others with fairness and clarity. Every manager carries personal biases shaped by past experiences, beliefs, and emotions. Without self-awareness, these biases quietly influence decisions, often leading to favoritism, miscommunication, or unfair treatment. A self-aware manager reflects before acting and asks whether a decision is based on facts or feelings. This reflection leads to more balanced and thoughtful choices, especially in high-pressure situations where emotions tend to take control. Employees notice this fairness, and it strengthens respect for leadership. Self-awareness also improves emotional regulation. Managers who understand their emotional triggers can prevent those triggers from dictating their behavior. Instead of reacting defensively to criticism or becoming frustrated when plans fail, they pause and respond constructively. This ability to manage reactions creates stability in the workplace. Teams feel secure, knowing their leader will not explode under pressure or make impulsive decisions that affect everyone. Better decision making also comes from understanding how one's behavior impacts others. A self-aware manager observes how their tone, words, and actions affect team morale and performance. They adjust their leadership style to suit different individuals rather than using a single approach for everyone. This flexibility results in more effective communication and stronger relationships, which directly influence the quality of decisions made across the organization. Self-awareness encourages continuous improvement. Managers who know themselves are open to feedback because they see it as an opportunity to grow rather than a personal attack. They actively seek input from colleagues and team members, knowing that diverse perspectives lead to better outcomes. This openness helps leaders correct mistakes early and refine their decision-making process over time. In addition, self-aware managers are more confident in making difficult decisions because they understand their values and priorities. They are less likely to be swayed by external pressure or fear of criticism. Their decisions are guided by purpose rather than emotion or popularity. This clarity builds credibility as employees trust leaders who are consistent and principled. Ultimately, self-awareness forms the backbone of sound leadership decisions. It allows managers to lead with intention, fairness, and emotional balance. By understanding themselves deeply, managers create a strong internal foundation that supports better judgment, stronger relationships, and long-term success for both their teams and the organization. Empathy builds trust and stronger teams because it allows managers to genuinely understand the thoughts, emotions, and experiences of the people they lead. When a manager practices empathy, they go beyond simply giving instructions and start connecting on a human level. Employees do not want to feel like replaceable tools. They want to feel understood and respected. Empathy creates that sense of belonging, and belonging is the foundation of trust. A manager who listens with empathy does more than hear words. They pay attention to emotions, pauses, and unspoken concerns. When employees feel that their manager truly listens, they become more open and honest in their communication. This openness reduces misunderstandings and creates clarity. Problems are addressed earlier, ideas are shared more freely, and collaboration becomes natural rather than forced. Trust grows when employees know their voices matter. Empathy also changes how managers respond to mistakes. Instead of immediately blaming or criticizing, an empathetic leader seeks to understand what went wrong and why. This approach does not remove accountability, that it shifts the focus from punishment to learning. Employees feel safer taking responsibility for their actions, knowing they will be treated fairly. This psychological safety encourages innovation, as people are less afraid to try new ideas or take calculated risks. Strong teams are built on mutual respect, and empathy strengthens that respect. When managers acknowledge personal challenges such as stress, workload, or life pressures, employees feel supported rather than judged. This support increases loyalty and reduces disengagement. People are more willing to give extra effort when they know their leader cares about them as individuals, not just as workers. Empathy also plays a crucial role in managing conflict. Disagreements are inevitable in any team, but empathetic managers handle them constructively. They listen to all sides without bias and validate emotions without escalating tension. By understanding different perspectives, they guide conversations towards solutions instead of allowing conflicts to damage relationships. This approach preserves unity and strengthens team bonds. In diverse workplaces, empathy becomes even more important. Teams consist of people with different backgrounds, cultures, and communication styles. An empathetic manager appreciates these differences and adapts their approach accordingly. This inclusiveness makes everyone feel valued and respected, which enhances cooperation and creativity. Ultimately, empathy transforms a group of individuals into a cohesive team. It builds trust, improves communication, and creates an environment where people feel safe, motivated, and connected. When managers lead with empathy, they do not just manage tasks. They nurture relationships that drive lasting success and strong team performance. Emotional control improves conflict management because it allows managers to address disagreements with clarity rather than chaos. Conflict is unavoidable in any workplace where people with different personalities, opinions, and pressures come together. What determines whether conflict becomes destructive or productive is not the situation itself, but how the manager handles their emotions during that moment. A manager who lacks emotional control often reacts impulsively, escalating tension instead of resolving it. When emotions run high, people tend to defend their positions rather than listen. An emotionally controlled manager remains calm and composed, setting the tone for the conversation. This calmness helps reduce defensiveness and encourages open dialogue. Employees are more willing to express their concerns honestly when they feel the discussion will not turn into an emotional confrontation. By maintaining control, managers create a safe space where issues can be discussed rationally. Emotional control also helps managers separate facts from feelings. In conflict situations, emotions often distort reality, leading to assumptions and misinterpretations. A manager who can regulate their emotions focuses on the core issue rather than personal reactions. This focus allows them to ask the right questions, gather accurate information, and understand multiple perspectives before making decisions. As a result, solutions are fairer and more effective. Another important aspect of emotional control is the ability to listen without interrupting or judging. When managers manage their emotional responses, they can truly hear what each party is saying. This active listening makes employees feel respected and acknowledged, even if the final decision does not fully favor them. Feeling heard reduces resentment and increases acceptance of outcomes, which is essential for long-term harmony. Emotionally controlled managers also avoid assigning blame in the heat of conflict. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, they guide the discussion toward accountability and resolution. This approach shifts the focus from who is wrong to what can be improved. Employees learn to view conflicts as opportunities for growth rather than threats, which strengthens the team's ability to handle future challenges. In high-pressure environments, emotional control becomes even more critical. Managers often face performance demands and external stressors that can intensify conflicts. By maintaining emotional balance, leaders prevent these pressures from influencing their judgment. Their steady presence reassures employees and reinforces confidence in leadership. Ultimately, emotional control empowers managers to transform conflict into constructive dialogue. By staying calm, listening effectively, and responding thoughtfully, they preserve relationships while addressing issues directly. This ability not only resolves conflicts more efficiently, but also builds respect, trust, and resilience within the team. Motivation drives performance beyond authority, because true commitment cannot be forced through position or power alone. A manager may have the authority to assign tasks and enforce rules, but authority only ensures compliance, not excellence. Motivation, on the other hand, inspires people to give their best effort willingly. When employees are motivated, they work with purpose, energy, and dedication. Even when supervision is minimal, motivated employees understand why their work matters. A manager who knows how to motivate connects daily tasks to larger goals and values. This connection helps employees see meaning in what they do, transforming routine responsibilities into purposeful contributions. When people believe their work has value, they become more engaged and invested in outcomes. Engagement leads to higher productivity, creativity, and quality performance. Motivation also comes from recognition and appreciation. Employees who feel seen and acknowledged for their efforts are more likely to maintain high performance levels. A simple acknowledgement of hard work can have a powerful impact on morale. Motivated managers do not wait for annual evaluations to provide feedback. They consistently recognize progress and effort. This reinforcement builds confidence and encourages continuous improvement. Another critical aspect of motivation is empowerment. Managers who motivate effectively trust their employees with responsibility and decision-making authority. This trust fosters a sense of ownership and pride in one's work. When employees feel empowered, they take initiative and solve problems independently rather than waiting for instructions. This proactive behavior enhances efficiency and strengthens team capability. Motivation is also deeply tied to personal growth. Employees want to develop their skills and advance in their careers. Managers who invest in training, mentorship, and development show that they care about their team's future. This investment creates loyalty and long-term commitment. People are more motivated to perform well when they believe their growth is supported. In challenging times, motivation becomes even more important. Authority may enforce deadlines, but motivation sustains effort during pressure and uncertainty. Motivated employees are more resilient, adaptable, and willing to push through difficulties. They are driven by internal desire rather than external control. Ultimately, motivation transforms leadership from command-based management into inspirational guidance. When managers motivate rather than intimidate, they unlock potential that authority alone can never reach. Performance driven by motivation is stronger, more consistent, and far more sustainable over time. Strong relationships lead to long-term organizational success because organizations do not grow through systems and strategies alone. They grow through people. When managers focus on building genuine relationships, they create a foundation of trust, loyalty, and cooperation that supports sustainable performance. Employees who feel connected to their leaders and colleagues are more committed to the organization's vision and goals, which directly influences long-term success. Healthy relationships improve communication across all levels of the organization. When trust exists, information flows freely and honestly. Employees are more comfortable sharing ideas, raising concerns, and providing feedback without fear of judgment or retaliation. This openness allows managers to identify problems early and make informed decisions. Strong communication also reduces misunderstandings, saving time and resources that would otherwise be lost to conflict and confusion. Relationships also play a critical role in employee retention. People are more likely to stay in organizations where they feel valued and respected. A supportive relationship with a manager can outweigh external opportunities or challenges. When employees feel that their leaders care about their well-being and growth, they develop loyalty that cannot be bought with salary alone. Retaining experienced employees preserves institutional knowledge and reduces the costs associated with turnover. Collaboration thrives in environments built on strong relationships. Teams that trust one another work more effectively, share responsibilities, and support each other during challenges. Managers who invest in relationship building encourage cooperation rather than competition. This teamwork leads to higher productivity, improved problem solving, and innovative thinking. When people feel safe working together, they are more willing to contribute ideas and take initiative. Strong relationships also help organizations navigate change. Change often creates uncertainty and resistance. But when relationships are solid, employees are more willing to adapt. Trust in leadership reassures employees that decisions are made with their best interests in mind. This trust reduces fear and increases acceptance, allowing organizations to implement changes more smoothly and effectively. Over time, strong relationships shape organizational culture. A culture built on respect, empathy, and trust attracts talent and strengthens reputation. Customers and stakeholders can sense when employees are engaged and valued, which enhances credibility and long-term growth. Ultimately, strong relationships turn organizations into communities rather than workplaces. When people feel connected, supported, and respected, they invest more than just their time. They invest their loyalty, creativity, and passion. This human connection becomes a powerful driver of lasting organizational success.